Cheating rumors, a near career-ending accident, and the murder of one of comedy's most beloved stars. They might be all laughs on Saturday night, but SNL stars are dealing in darkness outside of Studio 8H. Funny man Jimmy Fallon was a staple on the SNL stage before making his way to late night. After 5 seasons hosting Late Night with Jimmy Fallon, the comedian eventually took over the reins on The Tonight Show in 2014. But as his star began to rise as the host of one of the most recognizable late-night programs, rumors of his bad reputation began to swirl. They would eventually come to a head in 2023. That September, Rolling Stone published a blistering expose that included 16 different accounts of Fallon's allegedly less than stellar behavior on and off set, with one of the anonymous sources claiming, "Nobody told Jimmy no. Everybody walked on eggshells, especially showrunners." Another former employee stated, "You never knew which Jimmy we were going to get and when he was going to throw a hissy fit." The article was damning and was heightened by the Writers Guild of America strike that had paused most scripted programs, including The Tonight Show. Fallon was quick to privately respond. Rolling Stone published another article within 24 hours stating that Fallon and show executives reportedly held an all-call Zoom meeting for the staff. Employees told the magazine that Fallon allegedly expressed the following: "It's embarrassing and I feel so bad. Sorry if I embarrassed you and your family and friends. I feel so bad I can't even tell you." Chris Parnell was a major ensemble player on Saturday Night Live in the early aughts. He spent 8 years on the show from 1998 to 2006, appearing alongside the likes of Will Ferrell, Molly Shannon, and Andy Samberg. Parnell holds a unique title at the late-night staple. He is the only cast member to get fired twice by show creator Lorne Michaels. Parnell was first let go after closing out his 3rd season in 2001, allegedly due to budget cuts. He shared on the Daily Beast podcast, The Last Laugh, "It was pretty rough. I had come to realize how much of my identity at that point was wrapped up in being a Saturday Night Live cast member. And then very shortly thereafter, I started to hear from people who worked on the show that the door wasn't completely shut, that I might be going back. So it was this roller coaster for a while." Parnell was eventually brought back halfway through the next season, but was cut again in 2006. He told The Last Laugh, "It was much easier to take that time because I had a sense that it might be coming, and I'd gotten to go back for 5 more seasons and do a lot more stuff." But Parnell does get to hang on to one bright memory of the notoriously tough Michaels. Telling Vulture, Lorne, to his credit, admitted that he made a mistake, which was really cool of him. In 1988, Mike Myers was hired by SNL creator Lorne Michaels in an unconventional way, without an audition. Myers told Metrograph in 2023, "I got hired for Saturday Night Live in 1988, which was crazy and out of the blue. I didn't audition. If I had auditioned, I don't think I would have gotten in." Myers went on to become a comedy staple both on and off the show, with his name becoming synonymous with comedic lighthouses including Austin Powers, Wayne's World, and Shrek.
Take a look at me! What am I?
Really tall?
But his early successes and continued stardom were underlined with a reported difficulty that followed him on sets. Ever since his first big feature film, Wayne's World, in 1992, there have been reports of alleged shouting matches and diva-ish behavior. Myers told the Los Angeles Times back in 1993, "I'm very passionate about my work. I care a lot. We were all very passionate. Some people misinterpreted my passion as insanity." Myers' alleged on-set behavior became so synonymous with his name that he's frequently been listed as one of the most difficult actors to work with in Hollywood. Some former collaborators, like Wayne's World director Penelope Spheres, have even admitted that they root against him because of it, per Entertainment Weekly. But not everyone Myers has worked with has given up on collabing with the actor in the future. Producer Michael DeLuca told EW in 2008, "I'd make 10 movies with Mike in a heartbeat, but you've got to take it as seriously as he does." And he gives 150%. For a single season in the late aughts, Jenny Slate made her mark on the Saturday Night Live stage alongside heavyweights like Kristen Wiig, Jason Sudeikis, and Bill Hader. Memorably, her very first appearance on the show was made infamous by an impromptu F-bomb she dropped in a sketch alongside Wiig. Slate clarified to InStyle in 2019, "Everyone always thinks I got fired for saying I didn't. That's not why I got fired. I just didn't belong there. I didn't do a good job. I didn't click. I have no idea how SNL creator Lorne Michaels felt about me. All I know is it didn't work for me, and I got fired. Slate then endured several years of severe stage fright after her single-season experience, which almost caused her to stop performing stand-up altogether. During an appearance on the Off-Camera show, she called her experience very intense and really disappointing, and said, "I couldn't get over it. I was too sensitive. I couldn't do my stand-up joyfully. I was like a ghost of myself."
After I got fired, I was so humiliated, like in every way.
Luckily for audiences, Slate was able to work through her fears post-SNL and has since experienced a flourishing career in Hollywood, appearing in comedy shows like Parks and Recreation, numerous films, and even releasing her own Netflix comedy special. Plus, she's the voice behind the beloved Marcel the Shell with Shoes On, an ongoing project that resulted in an Oscar-nominated film released in 2021.
He has got to go. Not that I don't like Arthur.
Not that.
No! Oh my God!
Arthur.
No!
Arthur.
Off!
Tracy Morgan was an SNL mainstay from 1996 to 2003 before later co-starring on castmate Tina Fey's Emmy Award-winning sitcom 30 Rock. After a serious car crash almost killed him in 2014, Morgan eventually made his way back to the SNL stage as a host, resulting in a homecoming that was a long time coming for the comedian. Morgan told The Howard Stern Show, "When I went home, I was in the pitch meeting, and this young cast, all of them, I know they were doing their hardest pitches, their best pitches, and they inspired me so much. After I went to the pitch meeting, I went to the cellar and I grabbed the mic for the very first time."
I will always be indebted to that cast for inspiring me to go back and be funny.
But Morgan's troubles started long before his accident or even his time in Studio 8H. During an appearance on Conan, he spoke about his history dealing crack cocaine.
I was a crack dealer with a heart of gold. I would sell them crack and then feel sorry for them.
Morgan channeled those experiences and his love for his hometown of Brooklyn loosely into the show The Last OG, which ran for 4 seasons on TBS. He told The New Yorker, "This is not a show about the community. This is a show starring the community. Print that." SNL star Bill Hader became a fan favorite during his 8 years on the show with now iconic characters like Stefan and Herb Welch. For all the laughs that he garnered over the years, many might think he would be a natural in front of the camera, but in reality, Hader faced pretty severe stage fright at times on account of his anxiety. At one point, he began to have a panic attack moments before going on camera. He recalled to Grantland, "It felt like someone was sitting on my chest. I couldn't breathe. I started sweating. I thought, this is not good. Abort, abort." I remember getting my makeup taken off and saying, "I don't know what's going on out there. I don't know what just happened." But the Emmy Award-winning actor has not let his anxiety completely control him. Rather, he has learned to embrace it, within reason, work through it, and incorporate it into his work. In particular, he channeled the nervous, often frenetic energy he's felt into the award-winning HBO show Barry, which he co-created and starred in throughout 4 seasons. Hader told Men's Health, "The biggest thing I've learned about anxiety is that the more I fought it, the worse it got. So you kind of have to let it in and just say like, well, I'm anxious." It can be so overwhelming, but it's very cathartic to be able to put that stuff in for the characters and also use it in the performance. SNL mainstay Kenan Thompson seemingly took newbie Chris Redd under his wing both inside Studio 8H and in Hollywood in general. Thompson, who is the show's longest-running cast member with more than 20 years under his belt, and Redd, who lasted 5 seasons on the show, even joined forces for Kenan, the short-lived sitcom that ended in 2022 after 2 seasons. But things got a little dicey that September when it was revealed that Redd was going steady with Christina Evangeline, Thompson's estranged wife. Around the same time, Redd announced he was leaving SNL to pursue other projects. Rumors immediately began to swirl that Thompson had Redd fired, but those have been put to rest. Although neither of the comedians have spoken publicly about the matter, sources claim to TMZ that there was no crossover between Evangeline's relationship with both men, and that Redd's SNL departure was truly for other showbiz opportunities. That said, the plot appeared to thicken further when Redd was punched in the face virtually out of nowhere the following month as he made his way to the Comedy Cellar, resulting in a hospital visit and several canceled performances. All of the press surrounding the incident and its seemingly questionable motives, though Thompson, we must note, was not suspected to be involved in the attack, did not stop Redd from poking fun at the overall situation. On the Last Laugh podcast, he shared, "As many jokes as some people have, nobody has as many jokes about this as I do." Phil Hartman is arguably one of the most beloved performers from Saturday Night Live, but he also happens to fall into the category of large talents from the show gone too soon. Hartman starred on SNL for 8 seasons before relocating from NYC to the West Coast in 1994. By that point, the funny man was not only known for his masterful roster of impressions, but he was so valued amongst the cast that his co-stars called him the glue that kept the show together. Co-star Julia Sweeney told Grantland, "People like Phil make it safe for people to be crazier. They're the gravitas. It's not going to go completely off the rails if Phil's in the sketch." But despite the success that Hartman was heralding, his home life and crumbling marriage became significantly more troubling.
Clearly something went very wrong.
In 1998, Hartman was killed by his third wife, Bryn Omdahl, who had a history of excessive substance use and anger management issues. Omdahl shot her husband in his sleep before taking her own life, leaving behind the couple's 2 young children. The tragic murder-suicide rocked the comedy world, let alone the SNL one, which was still reeling from cast member Chris Farley's death just 6 months earlier. Hartman's Jingle All the Way co-star Rita Wilson told People at the time, "This is just a tragedy beyond description. Now 2 children are left without the 2 most important people in their lives, and with a lifetime of confusion." If you or someone you know is struggling with mental health, please contact the Crisis Text Line by texting HOME to 741-741. Call the National Alliance on Mental Illness helpline at 1-800-950-NAMI 6264 or visit the National Institute of Mental Health website.